Gushy stuff.
Gushy stuff. That smelly stuff.
Stinky.
I wonder if it's gonna pick that up.
Doubt it.
Be kind of cool if it did, actually.
Add some ambience.
What's up, brewskis?
Ambiance.
Some ambiance. I don't think the mics are powerful enough.
Nah, I don't think so.
It's raining outside.
Yes.
So
there's lightning and
if you
thunder.
can hear it, I highly doubt that you can
it.
hear on these. But if you can, that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Marco Dupa. And with me, as always, the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez. They had to have heard that one.
Ooh.
That one was loud.
That was ominous.
Yeah.
Right after you said my name.
It was. Tonight's brew is from Martin House Brewing Company.
Never heard of her.
It is the, well, you're about to drink, the Salty Lady.
Oh.
It's a Gose.
Gose.
So, Obi's going to have a little bit more about that after the break.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah,
Every time you bring me up.
I know. That was so weird.
Crazy.
And also, like, I don't know. None of this is connected to the internet. This is all, like,
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, we're not live streaming.
Yeah,
so.
no. So this is, we're fine. We're fine.
be okay.
Unless you lose electricity, and then the camera will go out.
Yeah. Eventually.
Excuse me.
We could do it in the dark.
Oh, yeah, we can do it in the dark.
I've got a lantern.
Be
nice.
kind of like doing it in the light, though.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's my preference. Keeping the lights on. I want to see everything.
Yeah.
Every beer we drink. What's on tap for tonight? We got ourselves another heap and healthy round of trailer trash. The new Stephen King film.
The Long Walk.
The new Spike Lee film.
Highest to lowest.
And the new Allison Brie, Dave Franco, and that other guy. Michael Shanks?
Shanks? Long Shanks?
Is that his name?
No.
It's not?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Michael Shanks.
Nailed it.
Together.
Yeah. And I guess you could throw the GTA trailer in there, too.
Yeah. That'll be a good segue into our video game segment,
Yes.
which we're going to be talking about.
Uh-huh.
The fact that GTA 6 now has a pushback release date of May.
Yeah, of
May
2026.
6th, I believe, of 2026. And then also, Gears of War is being remade and put out on PS5.
And then we're going to scuttle on back to Hollywood where good luck watching any movie.
It's a good verb for it. Little rats.
Good luck with any movie that is being produced outside of the United States if these Trump tariffs are imposed. 100% tariffs on any movie made outside of the United States, which doesn't even, I don't even know where to begin with, like, how do you impose that?
Nobody knows.
What does that mean necessarily? How many of, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But before we do any of that, we got to crack into these brewskis and start this episode right. Let's start it right. This is episode 462 of the One Beer In podcast. Salty lady, salty lady. All right. I'll clink it and drink it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. All right. This is the One Beer and Podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew. Let me see where that one brew takes us. I'm Marco. That's Adam. And speaking of Adam, no lightning this time. Do you want to tell the people a little bit more about what we're drinking tonight?
I would love to, but there's no cold read. However, I will say this is, as you said, the Salty Lady, made in Texas by Texans, a tart and refreshing Gose. Gose?
Gose.
5.2% ABV. Brewed and canned by Martin House Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, that was. To be honest with you, that was one of the first things that I learned working at Red Light. Was like, oh, we've been pronouncing these all wrong.
Yeah.
Gose, and then there's a goose.
A goo. Yeah, the Gueze.
Gueze.
Yeah. Goose. Gose.
Gose should just be goes.
Yeah.
Which I think I've heard people pronounce it goes. I am 99% sure it's Gose.
Yeah,
There's
I mean, I've heard people
with
add
the
a little
E.
extra.
That was crazy. That sounded like a gunshot.
Yeah, that was very close.
Are you scared? I'm scared. Oh, it's gonna be okay. We'll protect you. If you guys are watching, we matched, but we didn't do this on purpose. That's just the hive mind that is the One Bearing podcast.
It's true.
It's two halves of one brain. Deciding that we only have these two shirts that we own.
2/4 of one brain.
2/4 of one half of a brain.
Yes.
All right, trailer trash.
Trailer trash.
Let's start it off with The Long Walk. Stephen King. We're finally getting a new Stephen King movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's been actually
since The Monkey. So.
Oh yeah, so I guess it was
not that long ago.
Yeah. You can never tell, man. They just keep making like Stephen King he's written so much and we still have to adapt so many of his books.
Yeah.
And then they're readapting a bunch of his shit.
Sure.
That I mean, how many times is Carrie going to get made, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's getting remade again.
Yeah.
There's some TV show I think that's a Stephen King thing that's on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of hard. That's why you have to put that big old from the master storyteller Stephen King.
Yeah.
Comes the long walk hard.
Well, funny enough, they're like digging in the trenches for this one because this one was written by him in 1979 under his pseudonym.
Wow.
So it was like before he was even that big.
Yeah.
While he was still like, afraid of being known as writing schlock. So
right.
he's going by Richard Bachman.
Richard Bachman.
So this is a Richard Bachman joint, technically.
So they're going back to that the Coke era?
Oh, this is pre-Coke era.
This is pre-Coke.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I mean, it's probably experimenting at the time, but
yeah.
You get into the Coke era once you hit the 80s.
Okay.
Full stride.
Right.
It's right there, right on the cusp.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll say, I mean, I didn't know jack shit about this. Seeing the trailer, I read, I'd read somewhere the synopsis, which is like not hard to really kind of put two and two together from the name of the movie.
Pretty
to what it is.
self-explanatory.
But actually seeing it, pretty, I don't know. I'm pretty interested in this one actually.
Yeah. It's directed by the guy who did the Hunger Games movies, and I didn't realize, but that's the same guy who did I Am Legend.
Oh.
So
okay.
A guy known for post-apocalyptic kind of thrillers.
There's a little bit of I Am Legend in this trailer.
Yeah. Very bleak.
Yeah. This okay, I'll say this off rip. Like, this movie better be set in like a dystopian or like post-apocalyptic world.
It's gotta be right for people to be that desperate that they would. Okay, I guess we should say the synopsis.
Yeah,
the general idea
okay,
of
let's
it.
do that.
It's people that sign up for a walk that never ends until everyone is dead except for one person,
right.
And that person wins. I don't know, treasure of some kind.
Yeah, they're not very clear.
Yeah.
I mean, money, of course.
Yeah, riches beyond comprehension.
Yeah. But what my thing is, like, there's obviously still a military-industrial complex.
Yes.
And there's obviously still some sort of infrastructure to even give them said money.
Yeah.
So
and money has to have value,
right?
Unless they're just given like unlimited food and whatever.
Well, one
resources.
character says money. He's like, I can't. All I'm thinking about is that
money, right? Yeah. Okay.
So there has to be some kind of society in place that you can spend said money.
Yeah.
And having enough of it makes one rich still.
Right. And they're filming it, so that makes you think it's entertainment too for people watching, which means there has to be, at least movies, if not, home TV.
Right. It could be like a Running Man situation.
Yeah.
So my first question is, Why the fuck are all of them wearing them fucking Mumford & Sons boots, dog?
Right.
Like, I saw one character wearing Chuck Taylors, which, again, not good walking shoes.
No.
My first thing, I mean, I would die pretty quickly, but the first thing that would go is, like, my comfortability. Halfway through, I would just be like, my feet are on fire.
Hey,
Why did I wear these?
I would not sign up.
No, I would just live in poverty. That's
Yeah,
I would just make do.
no.
If I'm gonna get shot because I couldn't walk fast or long enough, I mean, like, is that better? I mean, it must be better. Death must be better
Than their current situation.
Yeah,
That or they're just stupid.
or they're just stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if I knew I was signing up for, like, the death walk,
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I would do is, I mean, I'm in
Just lay
poverty.
down.
Huh?
Just
lay
lay
down?
down.
No.
I'm good.
I wouldn't sign up for the death walk if I was. That's like suicide by cop, I guess.
It is, yeah.
The first thing that I would do is I would find the nearest, like, shoe store, if those are even still a thing.
Sure.
Which, again, that's why those first couple of questions need to be answered.
Right.
Because if there is,
Why do they not look prepared?
Right. They're just wearing
Jeans
like, why would you
and-
wear jeans? Skinny jeans.
No.
Skinny jeans.
No.
Layers of clothes. I mean, I'm sure you have to be able to fight the elements and everything.
Sure.
But wearing, like, a flannel, I would not be wearing skinny jeans. I'd be
No.
wearing the loosest basketball shorts,
Yeah.
compression shorts, then the loosest basketball shorts I could find.
Yeah.
And then find me some Hokas. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm if I know that I'm going on the death walk tomorrow, guess what I'm doing the day before? I'm breaking into a shoe store and I'm finding the most comfortable shoes that I can find. That's first and foremost.
Absolutely.
I'm getting strapped up with compression shorts. You know, I'm wearing compression socks, like orthopedic socks, so my legs,
Yeah.
you know, the
Yeah,
blood
yeah.
rushing to my legs and everything. You know,
Yep.
you gotta be prepared for this sort of thing.
I would bring 2 or 3 pairs of shoes
Right.
so I could slip them in between when my feet are getting fatigued, because it just feels better to, like, change up the situation.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. Mm-hmm. That'll keep you going for a while.
Yeah. So if you don't, you have to stay above 3 miles an hour. It's like the slowest version of speed ever.
Yeah.
And then
It's like a lightly brisk walk.
yeah. And if you how fast is 3 miles an hour?
I mean, I think it's below a speed walk. It's just like
They look like they were walking pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
They didn't look
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they were, like,
it's a casual
moving.
walk. It's a casual walk.
Yeah.
Because, like, for instance, on a treadmill, I can't walk below 2. Like, it's too slow.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 is slow.
So it's just got to be like a
3
nice
is
pace.
yeah, just
Just
walking
like
at a
That's a bit of a march.
yeah.
I'm thinking more,
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I would like to saunter, if that's okay.
Uh-huh.
That'd be my first question.
It also
Can I do
seems
a
like-
3 mile an hour saunter?
I'm sure you could. I'm sure it would help, like, pass the time too.
Yeah.
And that may answer the question I'm about to ask right now, but, like, it seems like a lot of them are in really high spirits and trying to be friendly with each other.
Right in the beginning.
When it's
Yeah.
like,
Well, and they're trying to support each other and everything. But yeah, you want them. I mean, I guess you don't want to see people die.
well, you do in that situation.
Well, I guess as a human being,
Sure.
with empathy, you don't want to see people just
I
drop
mean,
dead.
If you're in the death walk, you want everyone else to die.
I'm supposed to be the one with the controversial opinions. Like, death walk, I want to see motherfuckers drop dead.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm looking for.
Toss them underneath those tanks.
But no, it doesn't make a lot of sense that they're not more competitive. Like
Yeah.
the trailer shows the one scene, which I'm assuming this kid he eats it pretty fast because, like, I don't know why you would show that in the trailer. Like, they showed the whole thing.
Yeah.
The one kid who gets shot. The one
Yeah,
kid who,
yeah.
like, can't do it. I guess his leg cramps up or something.
Yeah, it looks like he gets a cramp.
Yeah, and then he bites the dust.
Yeah.
But, like, everybody was cheering him on. They're like, come on, just keep walking. And it's like, yeah, to your point, it's like, damn,
Sorry.
Timmy cramped up.
Sucks.
And it's like, you just don't even look back.
Yeah,
Just keep
no.
walking. Like, because you know what the game is.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear that they are deceptive about what the game is.
No, this doesn't seem like it was like, there are homeless people that were picked up off the streets
Yeah.
that they're making walk. It seems very voluntary.
Yeah. So it's like, did you, like, their shocked reactions when the first kid get shot. It's like, well, what did you think they were joking?
Hey,
like,
man, this is the Death Walk.
Yeah, you know the tanks that are following you?
Yes.
The machine guns that are trained on you?
The armed men.
Like, what did you think all that was?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's a little, I don't know.
I would like to read the story to understand what this is all about.
Yeah.
Because it's intriguing. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all that said, trailer's not trash. Looks interesting.
It's not trash.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, like, go out of my way to go see it in the theater.
Yeah.
Unless they turn around and they're like, this is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah,
One of the best Stephen King adaptions. Go ahead, do it. Just do it. You're going to be... Oh, you weren't even on camera.
Yay!
Yeah, well, I mean, all that was on camera.
You yelled at me for no reason.
I didn't yell at you. I didn't yell. You all heard the tone. You all heard it. You can all listen back to it.
Play it back.
Play it back. Yeah, the cast... There's just the one guy that I know from Snowfall.
They have Cooper Hoffman, too.
I don't know who Cooper Hoffman is.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nepotism.
I know. I mean, if he's good, he's good.
Yeah, we'll see.
If he's good, he's good.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. Oh, there's Mark Hamill, too, by the way. Apparently. Mark Hamill's in it.
For real?
Hmm? He plays a mayor.
Oh, that should be fun.
And Judy Greer.
You know he's going to ham it up.
Absolutely.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Hamill gonna ham.
Hamill going to ham. Highest to lowest, the new Spike Lee joint.
Yes.
He pulled out all the stops on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Got his boy
Denzel.
He's back.
Yeah.
He's back in a Spike Lee joint, which I miss Denzel in like something like this. You know, these past couple movies have been fantastic. Watching him like stretch outside the bounds of what people think he's capable of, which. He's capable of anything. He's the greatest actor of all time, so don't ever limit what he can do. But he's done a lot of Shakespearean stuff. He's done a lot of kind of bigger performances, and then the Equalizer movies. So it's gonna. I'm just happy to see him back in like a role that he's just gonna be like a crime movie is just where his bread gets buttered, man.
And he's made for a Spike Lee joint.
Yeah.
He's proven it time and time again.
Time and time again.
Yeah.
So, it's a Kurosawa movie, apparently.
It is. High and Low. A great one.
I've not seen.
Oh.
Is it good?
Oh, buddy.
Well, I mean, it's Kurosawa. So.
Yeah. It's Kurosawa doing his crime movie era. And it's... I mean, people say that it's a major reason for the... police procedural genre of movies to become as like uniform and popular as they became. So a major step forward in that genre, which I know you know and love. Yeah. So
Very much.
Right up your alley. Except this is a modern retelling.
Yeah.
In New York City.
Now I will say, I love Spike.
Yeah.
But there are times there have been movies. Where I just don't know.
Okay.
As far as like when he takes, especially something Eastern, like Old Boy. I'm talking about.
Okay.
Old Boy.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not beating around the bush. I'm talking about Old Boy.
Yeah.
Was not a good adaptation. But it's just a movie that like is kind of hard to do again.
I don't know why you would. I don't know what inspired him to do that.
I mean, he probably was just like, this movie rocks, and I have the fucking power and the money to make my own version
Josh
of it.
Brolin, get over here.
Yeah. Josh Brolin was a strange pick for that movie. That was a strange one.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have the humanity that you need for that character to see the difference between his normal life and what he goes through and how he's transformed.
Yeah. When that movie come out?
The remake?
The remake. Let me look this up for 1 quick second, because I want to do a little thought experiment here.
I'm gonna guess 2014.
You were close. 2013.
Ah,
You're a year off. So okay, all right. I'm trying to think of The first movie came out in 2003, so it was only 10 years later that
Yeah.
Spike was like, let me sink my teeth into that. Let me see what I can do.
Well, it's extra strange because I feel like Oldboy had a lot of international success. Like, it was one of those that did come over and make waves.
Right. So it wasn't just
It wasn't like this
some
unknown,
little known, like
Korean movie.
Yeah, Josh Brolin's such a strange choice. I don't know, but I'm trying to. Let me see. Okay, here we go. This is a good one. All right, I pulled up IMDb film stars of 2013.
Mm.
These are like the more successful actors who were like prominent at the time.
Sure.
He had The Rock was. I don't know why Bar Pally is number one. I don't know what order this is in. Movie folks who were often mentioned in 2013. Maybe she was in a lot of stuff. I honestly don't even know who this is.
Bar Pally?
Bar Pally.
Never heard of her.
She was in Pain and Gain, 2013.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Great.
Shit. Okay. Dwayne Johnson, Henry Cavill, Mark Hamill, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Mackie, Paul Walker, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know about that.
This is a weird list.
This is a weird list. This just seems like everyone. James Franco. Okay. I'm trying to.
Too young, though.
Basically, I guess I'm trying to think of like who could have. Matthew McConaughey was. He did Interstellar in 2014. He's too much of a. I don't think he would have worked.
Yeah.
Too much of like a good old boy. I don't think he could have shaken that. Ryan Gosling could have worked.
Yeah.
You take Drive, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. That's
I like that.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
But I don't. Do you think he can pull off the action sequences? That's the hard part about this movie. You need a guy who can pull off the humanity.
Yeah.
But a guy who can also pull off kicking a lot of ass.
Yeah.
Because he kicks a lot of ass.
He does.
In this.
Great ass.
Great ass. Henry Cavill's too big.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's not good enough. Leo was beyond this at this. Well, yeah, 2013. He was beyond doing movies like that. Same with Downey. He was fully immersed in the MCU.
Yeah.
If you want to get controversial, you could have casted a black actor.
Sure.
Anthony Mackie could have worked. Not Tom Cruise.
He's got to be a little older, though, you know? Like, he's got to be old enough to be
Bruce Willis.
an older dad.
We don't know what condition he was in 2013.
True, yeah.
Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon could have worked.
Yeah. He's got the dramatic chops. I could see that working.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we landed on it with Ethan Hawke. If Ethan Hawke could have, because
Do some stunt training.
So here's the thing. I think with Ethan Hawke, what you do is you lower the dexterity of the fight choreography. You have it be like more sloppy.
Well,
you
it
have him
is.
get his ass kicked a little bit more.
It is sloppy like that.
Yeah, but the OG dude in Oldboy, like that hallway scene, it looks sloppy, but he's tight in it.
Oh yeah. But he gets beat up a lot in it, and also is just.
I think he just gets beat up because he's outnumbered, not because he can't fight.
Well, he's flailing around a hammer too. So
Yeah, that helps.
he's not a trained fighter. He trained himself, so like he's strong, and he's been doing this for years. But he hasn't been taking like formal lessons. He's been watching TV. And,
Right,
like,
but what I'm saying
reading
is
books.
he doesn't look like that. I think he looks more trained, and I think he's a bigger guy, so it's more believable.
Yeah.
But with Ethan Hawke, unless he put on 20 pounds of muscle,
Bulk up. Yeah, I can see him bulk up.
Yeah.
I mean, these actors can do anything with their bodies if they really want to.
I guess that's true. Okay, so highest to lowest.
Yes.
He couldn't just call it high and low.
No.
He had to
Highest,
switch it up just a little
number
bit.
2, numerical 2.
Yeah,
Lowest.
because it's a Spike Lee joint.
Absolutely. Give it a little spice.
Yeah. So you got Denzel. Then you also have, speaking of spice, you got Ice Spice.
And
in
Ice
it.
Spice.
They had made this movie a couple years ago. As far as I know, they had filmed this a little bit ago. So, the Ice Spice casting is strange now because her relevancy is kind of gone down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think at the time it was a big deal. ASAP Rocky, another one. He's also in the movie, and it's like, man, he is so lucky he beat that charge.
Yeah.
Spike
Oh,
is
my
also
God.
lucky
Yes.
that he beat that charge because
Yes.
that would not have looked good.
No.
Actually, I mean, it probably would have brought a little bit of something to the movie itself.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, I don't want to
Maybe.
think in those terms, but you know. So anyway, what did you think? What did you think of the trailer?
Yeah. I mean, anytime there is a Spike Lee joint with Denzel Washington, like my ears immediately perk up, and seeing him working within this playground that Spike Lee creates is inherently exciting for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This felt like more of almost like a teaser. We didn't get too much from it,
Yeah.
but from what I saw, yeah, I mean, I'm all in, especially being a fan of the original movie. I think remaking this movie, though it being a Kurosawa movie, and obviously that being like a high bar to surpass, can be trouble. I think this is a perfect idea for a remake because it was made in the 60s in black and white in Japan, and a lot of people don't really know that much about it. It's not like he's remaking Seven Samurai.
Right.
So there's that element to it, and then also remaking it in a modern era with different kinds of people, and I'm assuming modernizing it for a modern audience and culture.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how he plays with that in this movie, because it's obviously a very different setting, time, and audience and people that he's playing with, characters that he's playing with. So that alone gets me excited.
Yeah, and ASAP was in Dope a couple years ago, so
Uh-huh.
I think he can pull this off. But I did just look at the Wikipedia that you have pulled up,
Yeah.
and his character's name is Young Felony, which I just thought Spike was better than this.
Also, I think they're making Ice Spice Puerto Rican because her name's Marisol Cepeda.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
we'll see how things go.
interesting. Okay, yeah, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want one day for there to be a rapper character in a thing and them not to have the most ridiculous name.
Yeah.
Like what's the rapper's name in The Sopranos? Ah, man. It made me laugh because it was so bad.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. Because there's Bokeem Woodbine's character who's prominent in like the second season or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's another guy who's also another guy that they mention.
Massive Genius.
No, that's Bokeem Woodbine's character, right?
Yes, it is.
Massive Genius. There's another guy. Massive Genius is a crazy name for a
Yes.
gangster rapper, though. That's pretty cool. I actually kind of like that. Massive Genius. But anyway, I mean, Young Felony spelled Y-U-N-G. You know. Okay. Sure, Spike. Sure.
You know, we have to come to the realization that Spike Lee's now an old man. He may not be as tapped in as he once was. And that's okay. You know, like,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
You just got to ask somebody in your corner to be like, hey, is this a good name for a rapper?
I think people may be afraid. I think it may be a situation where, like, you're really going to tell Spike Lee how to do hip-hop right?
Somebody should.
That's what I'm saying. I think it may be a situation of, that guy's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk to him.
It's just because I wasn't around.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. So there's one guy named Orange J, which that's great.
Is that a reference to the orange juice situation?
I don't know. I'll find it. There was another guy. There was another rapper. Oh, Season 6. Maybe this is it.
Massive Genius.
Deluxe. This is the guy.
Deluxe.
Yeah, it's actually Lord Jamar. Didn't know that. Yeah.
Okay. Deluxe.
Deluxe. D-A, second word, L-U-X.
Nice.
Deluxe. which actually, that's not that bad. Now that I'm thinking about it, for a rapper in like 2006,
Yeah.
Deluxe. I mean, it's one letter away from the locks. Anyway, let's move on.
You set it up. You set it up too high.
I did.
I think Massive Genius is
Genius is pretty good.
a little better.
Yeah.
Not trash.
Not trash. Not trash. Not
Okay.
trash.
Okay. Good
And-
deal. Good deal.
Yeah. And then Together, we're switching gear. Or do you want to do GTA first?
I forgot about Together. No, we're doing Together first.
Okay.
Wrap up this movie trailer trash.
Movie trailer trash.
Yeah, so Together, new horror movie coming out. Currently, I guess from previews, has 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Which is pretty big.
Pretty big.
Yes, it looks like it's around the idea of codependency and a relationship that is kind of hitting the bricks a little bit. You know, it looks like the honeymoon era is over. Things are getting boring. And then something happens where their bodies just start to morph into one.
Yeah.
And there seems to be some, I don't know if it's either scientific or supernatural element to it, but there seems to be some secret society that's at work and at play within what's going on. So looks interesting.
Yeah. The main like plot elements are kind of, they're not really revealed in this. It's so funny, like trailers, I think they're like teasers, especially not trailers, but teasers more so. I think they're starting to get a little bit better. Like Sherry was telling me that you guys watched the live action trailer for How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
And that it basically gives
It's
away
the whole thing.
movie.
It's the entire movie. We just she probably brought this up because we actually rewatched recently the original animated movie.
Yeah.
And in watching that, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that from the trailer. I remember that from the trailer. I remember that from the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's all there. Like the entire storyline is spelled out for you right there.
I think probably with that they're just going, well, I mean,
and that was my point too to
Yeah.
Sherry. I said they probably were banking off of people just saying, I remember when that happened in that movie. Oh, that's pretty cool. They were doing that. I want to rewatch that because I remember it as a kid. Or
well, and that's the thing with like the Lilo and Stitch trailer, for instance, kind of does the same thing because it really goes through pretty much the entire movie as well.
Yeah,
like what he is and who like coming after him and like the family thing and he's a dog and blah, 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 blah. The whole thing they kind of go through. And they show all of these different things in the trailer that are supposed to be like, ha, remember the fat tourist and this thing and that thing. Remember this? But a lot of people, by the way, had major issues with the Lilo and Stitch trailer that we didn't address at all. Yeah, I didn't realize any of this. Like we watched it, and I think we were like, yeah, it looks fun. Looks cute.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be a good time, whatever.
I think that's the amount of energy you should give a
lot
live
of
action trailer.
like
of Lilo and
speaking of
Stitch.
the tourist, for instance.
Uh-huh.
He's turned into a local.
Okay.
And a lot of people were like, well, the whole point was like this, like that was the comedic value of the tourist was like he's sunburned and like he doesn't know what he's doing out there, and like that was part of the comedy. There was something else that I saw that people like had a major issue with. I think one of the characters is not actually Pacific Islander, that she's maybe Asian or something else, that she's not actually from Hawaii or has any kind of like.
I definitely saw some controversy about the casting of the older sister.
I think that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, where they were saying like she isn't full Pacific Islander, like she's half or something.
Well, half, I think we're splitting hairs. I mean, she has the look, and if she has any kind of ancestry, not any kind, I shouldn't say that. Right. That's going too far. But if she's half, if one of her parents is...
I mean, that was my understanding. I could be wrong. There's no way for us to look that up right now.
There's no way to get that information.
But, yeah, from what I understand, it's just that she doesn't look Pacific Islander enough.
Yeah.
And, people pick at that and say, oh, they're trying to like whitewash it or make it more acceptable for American audiences and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not Pacific Islander, so I can't really say much.
You're not?
People have said
Have they?
they have.
You must be like Samoan or something.
I've gotten that. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up just so we can.
Well, and another
know
thing
for
is
sure.
like one of the characters, Bleakley or Plinkly or whatever, the little like the skinny
Bloopy
alien.
or Bloppy,
I'm like dangerously close to the actual character's name. Okay, so
Bleakley.
I think it's Bleakley or Pleakley, the skinny alien.
Plunky,
McClunky.
McClunky.
The skinny alien. Apparently, like the director, he posted and he was like, I tried, and it was a picture of him
yeah, I
in the
saw
dress.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, Pleakley.
Pleakley.
Yeah, sounds close. Agudong?
Sydney Agudong is her name. The one of the top questions on Google is Sienna Agudong Filipino?
Is she?
I don't know. Let's find out. Oh yeah, she's Filipino American.
Okay, so that's what people's beef is.
That's Sienna Agudong, not Sydney Agudong. Thank you very much.
Who's who?
I don't
Is
know.
it not the same person? Go to that Reddit.
Not even Hawaiian. Okay, this is probably the article we're looking for. From BuzzFeed. Quote, not even native Hawaiian who had to get a spray tan. People are frustrated, end quote. People are frustrated with Sydney Agudong's casting as Nani in the Lilo and Stitch live action. This is literally just some lady's blog.
Yeah, whatever. But that's basically those were the two like big. That was the biggest controversy from the trailer. So, and I mean, I tend to agree though. Honestly, if you're gonna make a movie like this, you're gonna do a live action movie. The whole thing is set in Hawaii, and it's set around Hawaiian values.
Mm-hmm.
Then
It's about the culture, so yeah.
right. So then cast Hawaiians. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
So don't just cast somebody who's Filipino,
Right.
who vaguely. That's crazy. I was watching. Fuck, I forgot his name, but the guy who voices Prince Zuko, he's been in everything. What?
Dante
Bosco.
Bosco.
He was being interviewed on a good pull. He was being interviewed
Oh, it's one
on a
of her favorite
podcast.
people.
Oh, okay.
I met him.
Oh, you did? Hair flip. He was on a podcast and he was talking about back in the day when he was younger, how he would get cast in roles was basically like, we need a Mexican. And he's like, okay, I can be a Mexican. And like, well, we need a Puerto Rican for this role. And he's like, okay, I can be Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And like, we need an Asian. He's like, perfect, I'm
Got
Asian.
it.
We can do that. And that is like old school Hollywood
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
shit where they were like, how close do you... I mean, Pacino has played how many different ethnicities? Just because
Cuban, Puerto Rican,
Uh-huh.
obviously Italian. I'm sure many more.
yeah, whatever the ethnicity of that character from Dick Tracy is.
I think he's
wherever
an
they
alien.
make those.
I think he's an alien.
Yeah, so...
Look, she's listed on here as being Caucasian, Filipino, and Polynesian descent. So, according to the internet, widely, at least that's what they're promoting, she does have Polynesian descent and was from Hawaii originally. Like,
Okay, so do you think
lived in
people
Hawaii.
just got angry about something for no reason? There's no way that the internet would do that. There's no way that anybody would get upset about something for no reason.
Certainly not. Never on on God's internet. No
Oh,
way.
no.
I think it's because she's not very brown.
Yeah.
And I think she doesn't have, traditionally East Asian Islander
Features?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's what people get hung up on is like that this is some kind of colorism thing and, and could be the case. I wouldn't put it far from Disney to do something like that.
Well, don't worry, because the people who are anti-woke won't watch it, and the people who are like super progressive, they won't watch it either.
Sure.
So it'll be fine.
Good.
It'll be fine. Anyway, how did we even get there?
Um,
Ice Spice as a Puerto Rican?
maybe. Who can say? No, because we were already talking about Together.
Oh, right, we did. We had moved on already, hadn't we?
How did we get here?
I don't know.
Who can say?
Who can say?
You have to tell us, folks.
Yeah. Anyway, Together
Yes.
looking pretty
good. We got Dave Franco and Allison Brie. It seems to be really like a two-fister for those two for the majority of the movie.
Yeah.
There's the therapist, it seems like, but besides that, that's kind of all you see in the trailer.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm good with that.
yeah.
Just let them do their thing.
Let them rock.
Just let them rock. Just let them cook.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like the idea of a horror movie about relationship complacency. I think that's not really been done very often in horror. So,
Go to Benzie.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that looks pretty good.
Yeah, not trash.
Not
Not
trash.
trash. Looks creepy. Gross. Some good imagery there.
Creepy.
Creepy.
Okay. Want to do GTA and then we'll get into video games?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's talk about the GTA trailer.
Yeah.
We finally got some more footage of that at the expense of the game being pushed back by about a year or a little under a year.
Yeah, less. Into next year.
So, game's going to be coming out in 2026.
Yeah.
May
May
26th.
26th. Yeah. Yeah.
But we did get some.
yeah.
So we got some footage. There's some in-game engine used. Ugh, excuse me.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Footage. So, yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Looks if we're looking at like the like in-game stuff that
Yeah.
they've used, I mean, it looks fucking
Crazy. It's
holy
insane.
shit.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this a while ago, but really the cutting edge of graphics nowadays, it's not like these large jumps that we saw back in the day between, NES and SNES or SNES to N64, things like that. Like, we're never going to see that again because technology is kind of plateauing. Mm-hmm. A little bit, continuing to advance, but in ways that are more like processing and detail oriented. So people are looking at like the beer, for instance, and zooming in on the beer bottles and seeing the individual little bubbles popping up in the beer bottle.
It's crazy.
Individual like beads of sweat on the main character's body. And it's crazy. I mean, not to mention the fact that you have to keep in context of what kind of game this is, which is an open world sandbox game.
Yeah.
So you can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can do whatever within that sandbox. It's not this like super tampered down, like, okay, it's going to look really nice because we're only putting in the details for this one room that you're going to walk through, and it's holding your hand and you're kind of playing a movie. No, it's like they need to account for everything in this world to be interactable.
Yeah.
And that's really impressive.
It kind of be like at this point, to your point about technological advancements, like that is the next step with these video games is making it so that the entire environment can be interacted with, because as advanced as we get with some of this stuff, there's still like you play a game like Spider-Man, for instance.
Spider-Man
Looks amazing, plays amazing.
Yeah.
And, the city seems alive. But once you play it long enough, you start to see the bounds of what you can actually do and what you can't do. Like you can wall crawl on buildings, and then you can look into the buildings and see people kind of interacting, and then you do that enough, and then you just see like one person just standing in a living room.
Oh, it's the same apartment I've seen 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, so it's like that kind of stuff. I mean, I understand that that's not the point of a game like Spider-Man.
Sure.
But it is the point of a game like GTA. I mean, you immerse yourself completely. I mean, if you're going based off of the peaks that they hit with Red Dead 2, I mean, they really, really set the bar as high as possible. So if I can't, I mean, I won't be too much of a stickler about it, but I kind of want to be able to just kick in any door that I want and there be like, you know, people to interact with.
Sure.
And if I walk up, like, there has to be more than just two ways of going about something. You walk up to somebody and you either antagonize them or compliment them and then see what happens. There has to be more than that.
Yeah.
So as far as like how it looks, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, we have hit a point where I'm like, it looks good enough. It doesn't have,
sure.
as long as it doesn't look like shit, it looks good enough that like, I'm not going to like, but that kind of stuff, the details of that sort of thing is, instead of walking up to, say, you know, a cashier at a store, and then instead of being able to like grab something off the shelf, it turns into like a sliding through a book or something like in Red Dead.
Yeah.
Or like cycling through things.
The catalog.
And then it just goes into your inventory without actually being handed the thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's little stuff that like that's like, okay, you know, 10 years ago that was fine. Nobody even thought about that. But now, you know, talking about like the individual bubbles in the beer and stuff, it's like, I want to be able to walk into a convenience store, go to the cold section, slide that door open, pull out which beer I want, you know, because that's just that kind of, it's that level of, especially if the rumors are true and this game ends up being like $100 or even anywhere near that.
Yeah.
If it's even close to that, then I better be able to do whatever the fuck I want.
Well, you know, I think it would be great to have more of that sort of attention to detail and the graphical fidelity and all that, but I think it's more important to show that like they have those details where it counts and it adds the level of immersion, because I don't care if you can go into every single, like walk into every single door or every single building. Doesn't really matter to me, but as long as it,
You think you're better than me?
yeah, I just think you're really dumb for saying that. I think it's
Apparently.
bad opinion.
The show's over. We'll be right back.
I think it's easy to get lost in the sauce when it comes to like having that level of detail, and you can end up doing too much of that and losing sight of it's got to be fun, and you got to craft this world to be enjoyable. And you know, I only bring that up to say, like, I hope they're being smart about it too, and not, because obviously this game has been rumored and speculated on for, I mean, years and years and years at this point.
Yeah.
So I just hope they're not breaking their backs for stuff that ultimately doesn't matter and it's going to not really affect how good the game is. But
I think that kind of stuff will affect how good the game is, though. I think people go back to Red Dead because of that level of detail.
Well, it's definitely got to at least be at that level, right?
Yeah.
You have to at least
But if
have
it's
that
just
level.
as good as Red Dead, then it's like, why did it take 10 years? You made Red Dead.
Yeah.
So.
Because they didn't have cars in Red Dead, Marco.
Right.
There's no radio stations.
True. That kind of stuff does set you back 10 years.
Yeah.
11 years.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, as a Floridian, I think it looks very Florida. And it's going to be interesting to see how they show a modern day Vice City.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, looking at that trailer and looking at some of the stuff that I've seen online about it, I'll be honest with you, I got low expectations for people's comprehension of the game itself. I think it's going to set off a firestorm of bullshit, and not like fun, you know, oh, the government doesn't want people to play these games kind of bullshit. I think it's going to be like fans are either going to call it too woke. People, like, everyone's going to get made, because that's the thing about GTA. It's a game that's like South Park, and in that it goes after everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't lean one way or the other. I mean, it kind of does. Like, morality wise, you can see that, like, you know, the people that are getting made fun of are people that should be getting made fun of, basically.
Well, and it has evolved with the times. If you go back and play like the original Vice City, there's some off-color jokes. There's some stuff that doesn't age well today, but at the time, it was perfectly fine.
I think though that they always tried to at least, like, the people making those jokes, for instance, weren't like the heroes of the game.
Sure.
Because nobody's really the hero. It's a game. It's called Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this like sullied world that you're playing with, which brings up the other thing I was going to say, which is it's already getting this weird conservative criticism.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I hope this is an anti-cop.
It's like it's called Grand Theft Auto.
Have you ever played a Grand Theft Auto game?
I mean, the first game I'm not the first game. The first mission in the last game, you rob a bank and then kill like a lot of cops.
Yeah.
To get out of there. I mean,
that's why Elon prefers Cyberpunk because
you don't kill cops in that.
Right,
one.
right.
Yeah.
It's not mandatory to kill cops.
He's such a fucking idiot. So yeah, I don't like where 10 years ago you could make a game.
It's not for this world.
It's not. And that's really like, that is my big concern, man. I'm really, really scared about, I'm not like scared like it's going to keep me up at night.
Sure.
I'm scared that like that's what's going to happen with this game. It's going to come out and people are going to, that's what's going to be the talking point. And it's like, media literacy and just literacy in general, it just seems like people just can't read no more.
Yeah.
It's at an all-time low, and by the time that this game comes out, I don't think that the vast majority of people have the capacity to really engage with a game like this on any kind of level. And I mean, it's a video game. I'm not even saying like it's Dostoevsky or something. Sure. I'm just saying like,
nice pull.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just think that like the way that
our culture isn't able to digest GTA anymore.
I don't think so.
Or really
I don't think
any media at all.
Any kind of morally complex thing, dude.
Especially in video games,
bro. I tweeted about it the other day, but like hold on, let me pull this.
You about to quote yourself?
I am about to quote myself. Not really. I'm sort of going to quote myself, but not really. I think this post got deleted.
What?
Yeah, it looks like.
Did you get canceled?
No, it wasn't me. I didn't get. I think so when you go on TikTok and when you go on TikTok,
sure,
and basically it's half content creators or half influencers, and you stumble on basically people who create pages solely for the reason of like reposting TV shows.
Yeah. Because
this has become like, this is a thing, by the way. When you see some people who are like, yeah, I make money on TikTok, and you're like, how? You don't even have a TikTok account. They have
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Basically
just post clips.
They have like 10 TikTok accounts, and all they do is they go on YouTube, they screen record Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
They crop it and then just post it on Instagram, on YouTube. Jesus Christ.
TikTok.
On one of these things. And the username is usually like user 58674. And it just shows up on your For You page, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember this episode. And you sit down and you watch like a minute and a half of Everybody Loves Raymond, and it clocks like millions of views.
Yeah.
So anyway, this happened to me. It happens to me all the time, and it was like an episode of some medical procedural show, and all of the comments were people, because basically, I don't even know what the show is. So if I start describing a show that you guys are, leave it in the comments. I would like to know what show this is. But essentially, the doctor is telling the dad, you can't. The scene, like, it comes right into the middle of the show, and the scene is the doctor is telling the dad, like, you can't withhold his cancer medication. It's a child. The child's like 8 years old, and the dad's like, I'm not withholding the medication. It's his choice. And so essentially, the point or the plot of this episode is this dad has let his child decide to live or die.
I see.
He has cancer.
Yeah.
And so the doctor takes it upon herself to go in there and try to like explain mortality to this kid. And the kid's like, no, I got it. I don't want to live anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm in too much pain and I don't want to live anymore.
Yeah.
And the comments, dude, are people, and this happens all the time.
Are they acting like it's real?
Acting like it's real.
So sad.
They're
so
like,
sad.
you know, this is why,
R.I.P. brave young man.
you know, these doctors, they get in the way of our choices. And one comment was like, the lady was like, this is why you should never go to the doctor. And then I commented, because of a TV show, and I
Yes.
ratioed her immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how people are engaging with things nowadays, man. So I know that what's going to happen in GTA, for instance,
This is a true story.
They're going to make fun of Trump.
Yeah.
They're going to make fun of all these political scandals.
I wonder if they even bother, though, because...
Oh, no, they're going to bother.
I mean, the thing that... The reason why I say that, I should say, is because you hear it all the time, comedians saying, like, especially people who do parody, we can't parody Trump. It's like, our current political climate is already parody within itself. There's nothing to parody anymore. It just becomes commentary. How do you do that? And not to mention, in a more logistical sense, the key writers of GTA are no longer there. So there's some concern there, for me at least, that they may not be able to find the right tone for it in the way that they used to.
That's even more of a problem.
Yeah.
Because they won't be able to toe that line the way that they used to.
Right.
Because
Or
that
be
was
smart about it.
That's what was so good about especially GTA 5 was everything that they did was so smartly done
Yeah.
that like you couldn't help but be like, man, what a funny thing to say, and what a clever way of saying it,
Yeah.
while also it being like really fun to play or really fun to engage with. And yeah, whether the writers have the ability to do that anymore, or whether we as an audience have the brain power to engage with it
Yeah.
on that level anymore. I'm very interested to see, but I don't think so, man. I think when this game finally comes out, the biggest thing that people are going to talk about is not how good or bad it is.
The politics.
It's going to be the politics
Yeah.
of it. Because I say Trump, and I mean Trump is obviously like,
Well, he's president now, so.
right, and that's a huge thing, but he's also a Florida guy.
He is.
He's a big Florida guy.
That's a good point.
You know?
Good point. Yeah.
So I do think that you have to at least...
Is there going to be a Mar-a-Lago?
That's what I'm
That
saying.
you
I
can
think
go
there
to.
has to be some kind of like, you're going to be able to like, I don't know, probably the mini games are going to be like playing basketball,
Yeah.
probably going to golf courses.
Yeah.
There's a million of them out here.
Sure.
I mean, I think like that's going to be a part of it. And there's just no shot that they don't have a Trump surrogate of some kind of stand-in for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the president. Maybe he's just a billionaire who lives in the city
Uh-huh.
and has funny mannerisms and things like that. But there's no way that they don't at least have some kind of stand-in for him. And the minute that he's on screen, I guarantee you people are going to be like, fucking woke-ass game.
They
Too woke.
ruined it. They ruined
Woke.
it.
If this game is going to be anti-cop, what are you talking about? Are you? But you know what? I don't even think.
Then don't engage in any media ever.
Because all right, this kind of gets me into
Just watch Cops.
Just angry.
Just watch Cops every day, please.
these people. I don't even honestly, dude. I don't even think half of these comments are real people. I
Yeah.
do really think that a lot of them are AI.
Dead internet
I
theory.
do. I
Yeah.
think like
Yeah.
I go on my Twitter and I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but I do want to talk about this at some point. Maybe
Okay.
not. Probably not today.
Okay.
Excuse me. I go on my Twitter now, and it's full of just the most hateful, heinous shit.
Yeah.
It's just I can't even. I see the stuff that like me, you, and Juan talk about.
Yeah.
I see some stuff on my own For You page, and then the rest of it is just it sucks, man. It's racist. It's evil.
Oh, yeah.
It's just bad. Just like it bums me out. That's why I just don't go on there anymore.
I've had a major surge on my Twitter about flat Earth
Oh yeah,
and conspiracy theories, and I don't know where that came from.
Same.
because I
Same.
haven't
Have no idea.
engaged in any of that.
No idea. I reported a page. They still haven't got back to me. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it.
The whole page
They won't.
was just him dropping the N-word and saying like they need to die and
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
like no reason for them to live and all this stuff. Like it was just just stuff where you're like, you know, a couple years ago there's just this page would have lived for like a day.
Yeah.
Would have got reported and would have been taken down.
Sure.
But nowadays, so that's how media is nowadays. That's how these things get engaged with nowadays.
Yeah.
So I just don't have high hopes for how people are going to receive the game when it comes out.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. As long as it's a fun game to play, that's all I care about. And it doesn't cost $150.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not trash for me. I will say though, the delays have made, the sort of lack of information on this game for such a long time has made me really tune out of it. I'm not that excited anymore. Like I'm just like, yeah, it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, I'm not tapped in, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my thought on it is when it's finally out is when I'll like take it seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, I'm just looking at the stuff and like, that's cool. Like I saw some post that was like, here's 70 screenshots of the game, and I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
going through these.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go on the website, their official website, it's pretty cool. They have like these animated pictures of
GIFs?
no, not GIFs. They're and it has like all of the characters, and as you scroll down, like it animates, and there's little brief descriptions of them, and
Oh, cool. This is a really well-made website.
yeah. So if you want to go there, they give you like a full rundown of these characters and kind of the general idea of the game. So pretty cool, and the setting too, which is cool. Leonida.
Leonida. Only in Leonida.
That's their Florida.
Only in Leonida.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, right? That's it for Trailer Trash.
Yeah. Did it not trash for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. I am excited about it. And, you know, I just want to say also for the record, like, I don't give a fuck what an idiot thinks of the game. Like, I'm going to buy it, play the hell out of it. Like, that's not... I hope it doesn't come across that I'm like, I hope that the dum-dums like it. Like, I don't give a fuck what they think. I'm just saying that, like...
It's just
it's
exhausting.
It is. It's exhausting to see it all the time, and I'm just so sick of the conversation being that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe real people don't talk like that, and maybe it's because Twitter is so filled with the dumbest human beings on the planet that, like, when something gets posted and the first thing is like, well, it was woke, so that's why it was bad, or I hope it's not woke, or if it, and you just see that all the time to the point that you're like, this is how people are going to deal with
Yeah.
anything nowadays.
Yeah. There's no comprehension skills. It's all about politics. It's all about, you know, if this aligns with my personal beliefs on something, and it is so funny to see how the tables have turned within the political ideologies in the U.S.
It's crazy for people to not realize
The
how much
snowflakism that has occurred.
all of the
on the
stuff
right.
that they used to say about the left.
It's crazy.
Oh, you little snowflake, you baby. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, like, look in the mirror, man. Anything that even slightly makes fun of the stuff that you guys are into.
What have you become?
Oh,
I respected you more when you didn't care.
right. Now it's like, Jesus Christ. Which brings us to our last topic, tariffs.
Well, we should say too, really quickly, because there's not really a whole lot to say about it. I'm excited because Gears of War finally coming out.
Yeah, that's
on
right.
A
Gears.
Sony console.
Yeah.
So
That is interesting. I mean, yeah, at this point, all we can really do is speculate as to why they feel like now is the time to bring Gears.
it's been on its way for a long time.
Yeah.
And I guarantee we're going to get Halo on PlayStation, and it's inevitable at this point.
Well, because PlayStation won.
It did.
Sony won, and Microsoft has finally bent the knee, and they're going to make it seem like they haven't, but this is if this isn't bending the knee, Gears, if Halo makes its way to PlayStation,
It's gonna.
then I don't know what more you need to see.
I will go.
Terms of,
I will go one step further, my friend. I think there will be a day in the not too distant future in which PlayStation has Game Pass.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that. Man, what a happy day that would be.
be great. Yeah, and they'd make a ton of money off of it.
I am excited to get my hands on Gears. I only got to play it with like friends, and when I had a 360, I just never bought. I don't know why. Maybe because I've been a Sony guy at heart.
Yeah, sure.
But even when I had a 360, I didn't get Halo, and I didn't get Gears.
I'll never forgive you for that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We were playing Call of Duty at the time.
That's true.
We weren't like on Halo. I mean, you were.
I was. Day one, baby.
But I guess I just never got onto it. So by the time I had an Xbox, I was like,
Who cares?
yeah.
I got other things to
No,
play.
I missed out. I definitely missed out. I mean, I've only been able to play those games like casually.
Yeah.
I've definitely missed out. But yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah.
That is exciting.
And there's rumors that they're going to bring the newest Gears, which is a prequel, after that. And that this is like an easy onboarding for people who haven't played it before.
Don't look.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Tariffs. They're coming for everyone.
My favorite word.
My favorite word. Tariffs. I love a good tariff. A little bit more than I love groceries, which I've made affordable. Affordable groceries.
Day one.
Affordable groceries. Except for dolls, which now you can't get 30.
And
you
pencils.
You may have what?
Pencils?
Pencils.
You mentioned pencils. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Pencils and dolls.
So, we don't really talk about politics on this show unless we really want to. Unless we want to fight with people.
Yeah.
Which I'm not really in the fighting mood right now.
Yeah, sure.
So
We're not above it, though.
Definitely not above it. Oh, definitely not above it. But the tariffs thing, like we can turn this into a political podcast and talk about how tariffs are affecting every industry. But this one is obviously more apropos because this is what this podcast is about mostly. And it's Trump imposing tariffs on Hollywood. 100% tariffs on any film that is made outside of the United States. Which, like, I don't know what that means. First and foremost, like I understand tariffs. I understand the concept. And I do? I do. I know that it may be difficult for people to understand, but I know what they are and I know how they work. I looked into it. I did my own research.
Wow.
But what I'm saying is, first of all, does a film? Okay, let's just say this because in Trump's tweet truther,
his truth.
His truth.
They're called truths,
that's
Marco.
for real.
Yes, they're not tweets. They're truths.
Man, do they not understand like how much they sound like the people that they dislike?
I have it pulled up if you want to.
Okay, Trump,
hear it.
you let me go ahead and do what I.
You go ahead and do it.
Go-
Do what
do
you.
what
I'm
I do.
gonna grab another beer. You go ahead and handle that.
Yeah. The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas, all the other areas within the United States are being devastated. So much devastation, so devastating. This is a concerted effort by other nations, and therefore, this is written way better than he would ever articulate in his entire life. So it's kind of difficult to do the impression because he's not saying this sort of thing.
I can tell you're adding a little. You're adding a little to it.
I'm trying, but it's kind of difficult. There's just no. Therefore, has he even used the word therefore?
It doesn't sound natural in his candor, his voice.
He actually used it more than once, so it's a little redundant.
Therefore.
This is a concerted effort by other nations, and therefore a national security threat. It is.
What?
It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced on foreign land. We want movies made in America again. So, basically, and that
He
brings
doesn't
me
know how movies are made.
right, and that brings me to my point about like, okay, so are you okay with American-born filmmakers making a movie in Atlanta, for instance, but that movie being anti-American
Yes, because it's made here.
because it's made here?
I mean,
In his statement, it's about propaganda,
yeah,
right?
because any movie that is made, even from an American company, that is made in another country, is inherently propaganda.
Right.
Obviously.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Marvel movies, by the way, are made. They're either made in Atlanta or they're made in London. They're they're never like. So.
Star Wars. Have you seen a Star Wars?
You seen a Star Wars movie? It does feel like he just wakes up and he decides tariff here,
Alcatraz.
tariff there. We're gonna reopen Alcatraz. That's all. Yeah, I mean, like. So
Who can keep up?
Let's just stay on topic.
Okay.
So apparently, what is this? This article is about how John Voight somehow had a hand in this.
Well, he has an envoy of 3 Hollywood ambassadors.
Okay.
He likes to call them.
Is James Woods one of them?
No
way.
And I was surprised and a little sad for him, honestly.
Yeah,
'cause
all that fucking dick licking he did,
Not
just to
big
not
enough.
even be a fucking
not big. I will say his choices, Trump's choices, are better,
Mel Gibson.
of course.
Okay, yeah. So it's John Voight, Mel Gibson, and someone else.
Yeah, yeah.
Dennis Quaid,
No,
Randy Quaid.
no. None of the Quaids.
Who could the third one be? Actor.
Actor, yeah, prominent actor that we both love, actually.
Sylvester Stallone.
Absolutely. Sly. Sly made the cut.
That's right. That's right. Oh, Sly.
Uh-huh.
Ah, no. Okay, so Sly, John Voight,
Yep.
and Mel Gibson are his Hollywood brain trust.
The trifecta. Yep.
Man, I did watch a little bit of Tulsa King.
I heard it was good.
It's pretty good.
I heard it was good.
It's pretty good, unfortunately.
Hey,
It's-
look, I don't. I can separate. I can say I still enjoy Sylvester Stallone as far as his movies go, and I still have a soft spot in my heart for the man, even though I disagree with his politics.
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
okay.
It's fine. You can
It's
do
all
that.
right.
You are.
It's all right.
I will say it's a little bit of a boomer wet dream, and so that like he's an older guy,
Yeah,
and he kind of takes these young guys to task.
yeah.
You know, it's always those movies where
Of course.
they're like, man,
Gives him a what for?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it's a little bit of that,
Sure,
but
yeah, that's fine.
he's so good in it.
It's fine.
He's really great in Tulsa King so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, so this brain trust.
Yes. They met with Trump months ago to talk about sort of the state of Hollywood, and I mean it had been pretty quiet on the Trump front as far as Hollywood goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, in that time, he's gone on this tariff tear.
Terror, I like that.
Thank you. And so sooner or later, I mean, it was bound to happen, but Trump essentially, as we said, has stated his intention was to put 100% tariffs on any movie made outside of the U.S. So that is casting a wide net. I'm not sure if he meant that or if he meant foreign-made films as in from productions outside of the U.S.
Yeah, it's hard to understand because he just says things, And then he has to have smarter people come in and go
decipher,
this
figure
is
out
what
how
he
to
meant.
do it.
Or he'll just go on Truth Social and do something like that, and then send his administration into a tailspin,
Right.
trying to
Figure it out.
make sense and go, well, this is how we're going to do this.
This is what he meant.
This is what he meant. He obviously didn't mean this, and then he'll come behind and be like, I obviously meant it. I said that. And they're
Yeah.
like, he didn't say that. And it's
And
like,
they're
I
like-
said it.
They're like, shit.
And then they have to come back behind and be like, well, Mr. Trump knows what he's talking about.
We're behind him 100%.
Yeah, I love the moments when they have to be like, he didn't mean it like that,
Right.
And then have to come back in the next interview and be like,
He meant it like
it
that."
like that, and this is why he said that. And it's like, man,
And he's fully justified in feeling that way.
this is why he should feel
And
like, and you should feel like this too.
Our job is to figure out how to get that done.
And we're gonna get it done.
We're tired of excuses.
Tired of
We're
it.
going to figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. So, it obviously affected everyone in Hollywood immediately at one time, and led to a lot of confusion and a lot of people wondering exactly how this would be implemented. And sorry, I'm picking up a chihuahua. God, why is she so heavy right now? Oh my God.
She's just filled with food.
poop.
It's the poop.
But yeah, so it obviously immediately started panic in Hollywood, which
Yeah.
may have been the idea, honestly. Just to you can
Maybe
never
just
tell.
like to fuck with people.
You can never tell when he actually is doing something for a reason with serious intention, or if he's just trying to cause more chaos.
And he honestly could just like wake up the next day and be like, maybe not 100%.
Well, and that was the thing. I think the next day, representatives came out to say, it's still in the drawing board phase. We're talking about it. We're figuring out the logistics, and
Yeah.
we're talking to experts in Hollywood to try to figure out how to make this work so it doesn't hurt anyone.
That doesn't make any sense.
Nah,
That how do you do that? So how did John Voight come into the picture? Did he just suggest this?
there's no details. Obviously,
So he
There's-
just was around, and then this announcement happened.
within a few months, this is what resulted. It's just to say, like, these are the players involved as far as his Hollywood entourage.
Yeah.
Are these three men, and so a lot of people are
Old
pointing
school tough guys.
pointing at them to say, like, why didn't you say something about this? Are you behind? Like, was this your idea? Like, what do you mean? Because even if you politically are trying to send a message to Hollywood that they need to make more movies in America, or the world for that matter, if you're saying, like, we want more movies made, we want more movies made in America, so even these foreign films can come over here and be made here. That's not an effective way of communicating that, or effective way of making that happen. The way you do that is by giving tax exemptions and sweetening the pot for people to come and film in certain cities,
Right.
and certain states. That's
Right.
why Atlanta has become this mecca of film and
Yeah.
TV, is because they have those exemptions, and it's worked great. Like, who would have thought that, like, Atlanta would be this hub of filmmaking?
Yeah.
But it is, because it makes monetary sense.
Yeah.
So if you do that across the United States, imagine how much easier it would be for people to start making movies here.
Right.
So you don't have to always use vinegar. You can use honey sometimes.
Well, I mean, the bigger issue at play here is just the idea that, like, people go overseas and make propaganda films and then sell them back to American audiences. It's like, I don't think that Donald Trump has watched a movie in a theater in probably the last, like, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I would love to know what examples he has of films that are
Propagandist.
perpetrating what he's talking about, that are so bad that need to be that all of this needs to happen. That's what I want to know, is like, what are you talking about, basically? Like, what are you talking about? What movies are you referring to?
And not to mention the whole First Amendment thing that allows people to make whatever kind of movie they want as long as it's not inciting violence.
Right. So, again, Did he just hear about Parasite like last month and was like,
I don't like the Koreans.
I don't like it. I don't like that they won a lot of Oscars.
They must have been from the north.
They must have been from the north. Actually, he likes the north. It's the south he doesn't like. He's cool with Kim Jong. You know,
It's true.
He's like, they must have been South Koreans trying to escape.
Liberal South Koreans.
Liberal South Koreans. They have control over their media. Strange. We have citizens who control their media in this country. I don't like it. I think it should be state run. It should be state run media.
Not NPR.
Not NPR. No money to NPR.
No PBS.
They're too liberal.
Yeah.
They spew liberal woke indoctrination.
Agendas.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's get off of it.
Yeah.
But all I have to say, like, what
does it mean? Where is it gonna go? I mean, I saw like people ringing the alarm of like this could be devastating to Hollywood and
absolutely.
like it could like crash the industry, which like a lot of the tariffs. But I just. It just again, it's just something that he like. It throws everything into disarray, and maybe for no reason other than to say like, look what I can do.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. Like the newest Marvel movie, for instance, was filmed in London.
Yeah.
And big action movies get filmed overseas. The new Mission Impossible movie was filmed overseas.
A globe-trotting thriller is shot in places other than America.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing, man. It's like, it's not just stuff like this. It's not just like, how do I say this? Like, the quality of things will just go down if this kind of stuff continues to happen.
It's
and
stifling.
People don't really seem to understand. Like when I was reading like comments again on Twitter, I don't know why I'm rotting my brain this way, but I am.
Feels good.
And there's people on Twitter who are like, "Good, we should be making movies in America." And it's like, okay, well, what if the story is set in Berlin?
Yeah.
How do you replicate Berlin without going there? What if the movie is set in an Asian country, any Asian country?
You got to make more backlots and create these places again.
Apparently, that's the idea. Is they want everything to look like movies from the 50s, and it's like, but you don't though. That's the thing. You say that, and then when you get that, you're gonna go, well, this movie looks like shit because it was filmed on a backlot somewhere. And it's the same fucking 4 apartments that every show uses and every movie uses. Yeah. And I just don't think that people are thinking this sort of stuff through until it finally hits home. Like, it'll happen to movies that they don't give a fuck about.
We want more movies to be set in Kansas.
Right. Then when movies are set in Kansas, and then you're like, well, it kind of like, this kind of sucks because we couldn't get, as many the higher quality workers here. We couldn't get as many good actors on this movie. We couldn't get the writers. Yeah. All of the things that go into this. I just think that people are being too short-sighted about a lot of these things, and
it's because the main focus is politics, and that ruins whatever is at the core of it. Yeah. Which again, it's so funny that I'm saying that as someone who is liberal.
You're what?
I'm sorry. I'm a lib, but that was something that was said oftentimes by conservatives of saying like, "Oh, this is getting too political. Like you're putting politics in everything." I'm not talking about politics in the content itself. I'm talking about letting politics destroy the entire infrastructure of this industry. Yeah, because you want brownie points for making this movie instead of that's set in Indonesia, instead of having it in Indonesia being filmed in Washington State. Right. Like what?
Like if movies are going to do poorly because the majority of people don't want to see, quote unquote wokeness in their movies, then that's what's going to kill the industry. And if that's the case, it is what it is. Like you can't combat something like that. If the majority of Americans feel that way, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. But when a movie gets made and it's woke trash and it makes $500 million, it's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's a lot of money for a movie that's unsuccessul.
Well,
So why would you come in and try to destroy that thing other than for like what you said?
Because you don't like it. Because you personally have a political issue with what's being displayed in your country. And that is some dictator shit.
Yeah.
You know? Because, what isn't it supposed to be the whole thing of letting people vote with their wallets?
Right. Well, not when it's something that they can just swoop in and be like, we're not making that anymore.
Like, it's... I feel like such a projection that they've been saying for years now that these politicians have been interfering too much in these, in Hollywood and TV and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you not see what's happening now?
No.
Do you not see that that's exactly what you're proposing?
No. Well,
What are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do? Anyway, let's move right along.
Okay.
Let's move right along.
Right
I can already see what's gonna happen with that last segment.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's gonna be fun. Because here's the thing: people are gonna skip past an hour and a half's worth of just to get to the part
get here, yeah.
where they can fight.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
Whatever.
Leave a comment. I don't care.
So let's move right along to
Okay.
the cheers of the week.
Yeah.
What's your cheers, Obi?
My cheers of the week goes to a very old video game,
Video game.
PS2 era, called Timesplitters.
Oh wow!
You remember
I
Timesplitters?
do remember Timesplitters.
Cheers to Timesplitters.
Cheers to Timesplitters.
So on PSN, PlayStation Network, they had a sale on all three of the Timesplitters games that were on PlayStation. And so they were each like $2. And I said, worth $2.
Fuck it.
I'm going to get them. So I went back and hopped back into Timesplitters. And one late night, just played the hell out of them.
Yeah.
And talking about remakes, I think the original Timesplitters is so unique of a first-person shooter that is so ready to be remade. Because the entire idea behind it, it's not like a traditional first-person shooter. It isn't about like killing all the enemies and like, getting to a certain checkpoint. The entire point is to go as quickly as possible from point A to point B to pick up an item and take that item back to your original point.
Uh-huh.
And to do that as quickly as possible without dying. So that's it. That's the entire thing. And you do that through different periods of time, from the past, the far-flung past, to the future.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a novel idea that hasn't really been explored in modern times. And I would love to see that reborn as like a new game.
Yeah.
So, super unique, very fun, and kind of holds up pretty well for a shooter. A lot of first-person shooters don't hold up very well.
No, they do not. Especially the older ones. You're like,
yeah.
"Phew, this is janky as all get out.
Yeah. But no, this one, it's still a dual-stick shooter, so it
Yeah.
still feels pretty good.
Very cool.
Still has a bit of that jank to it that like GoldenEye had.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the same developers that branched off into Free Radical is the name of the developers.
Development.
Development developers.
Development developers.
So yeah, I just wanted to give a little tip of the hat to Timesplitters, a game I hadn't played in probably 15 years.
Hell yeah.
And have been revisiting to much joy and fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, my cheers of the week is going to the Met Gala's theme this year of Black Dandyism. You may not be able to tell by this fresh ass outfit I got on this week, but very, very into fashion. I mean, come on, look at me.
Wow. Beautiful.
Look
Beautiful.
At this. Look at me. And when the theme got announced. Now, all right, let me just say for number one, I do like fashion. I do like the history of fashion, the idea of everything, but like the celebrity worship thing of it is a little,
Yeah.
especially the Met Gala. The Met is like the ultimate like look at all the prettiest people on the planet,
Yeah.
you know, wear the craziest thing that they can think of, or like the sexiest thing that they can think of, or whatever. So
It's very
the
Coachella.
institution, yeah, all of that. I don't really pay attention to the Met as much because it's just so like, it's like watching it's like when people when there's looks on a runway and you're like, well, normal people don't wear that. This is about art. This is about
Expression.
creating and so it's not really like functional clothing. That happens a lot at the Met, and it's more of like it's more like art. It's more like a fashion like show than it is anything that you could ever like functionally wear. But I think that as woke or whatever as this year's theme is, I mean, it's something that I like personally.
It's first. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to say it's so stupid that because it's Afrocentric, it's woke.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, that is all it needs to do is involve black people, and then you're like, ugh, wokeness,
Yuck.
woke again, wokeness.
Someone
again.
saw Sinners.
And for me personally, it's something that like I have like Googled a lot and drawn. I mean, not like in my own clothing so much because I don't walk around wearing suits and stuff. I live in Florida.
Yeah.
I can't just wear suits all the time. But the inspirations that they took for this theme were like really in line with shit that like I find fashionable, which is just, it was just really interesting to see like them go for this theme and the people that they used as examples of very fashionable people of that era, like Sammy Davis Jr., like Miles Davis, or like basically any jazz guy from like the 60s.
All the Davises.
All of them. I didn't realize I did that. So those are dudes that you look at and you go like, these guys, this was like the peak. This was like the peak of fashion when it came to like supremely tailored suits, interesting silhouettes, like the way it's just shit that like people are still trying. I mean, even at the Met, there was a couple of looks that you're like, you tried, but you didn't nail it. And it's like, how can you have, 80 years of time to figure this out and still not get it?
Yeah.
So I do like, I guess my cheers is to the idea of finally something like that, getting its just due. Whether that thing is the best avenue for something like this, that's a different conversation. Mm-hmm. The celebrity worship thing and even putting any kind of stock into the Met Gala in 2025, that's a whole other conversation.
Sure.
But it is nice to see beautiful black people doing beautiful black things, basically.
Sure.
So, huh? Yeah, she did. And
Janelle Monáe did a good job, is what Sherry did.
there was quite a few people who looked amazing.
Yeah.
But there were some people who just really didn't get it.
There's a risk reward situation in that where a lot of people either they try really hard and it doesn't pan out and you kind of look silly, whatever. Or what's even worse, in my opinion, is they clearly didn't try at all.
Yeah.
And they're just wearing a suit. And it's like, okay.
Those are the people that
go home.
Those are the people that fail the most. Because if you swing for the fences and
respect,
it's just you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you respect that. It's the people who just who don't try that. You're like, you didn't get it. You didn't even try to understand it. And I think that also this is a good example of when people, you draw from certain inspirations and it's like, well, what does that have to? You clearly don't understand this as a concept.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time with the Met, when every time they have a theme and then people show up and you're like, did you do any research or did like who styled this? Why would you even choose to do this? This makes
you
no
had
sense.
that in your closet already,
right? And you just wanted to bust that out. That's fine.
You wanted to go to a party, is what you wanted.
But I don't know, and especially with something like this, for me personally, I can go. This is shit that I like. I know a little bit about. So when I see some of these looks, I'm like, you didn't even like Google it. You didn't even like pull up a Pinterest lookbook.
An attempt
you
was
didn't
not
even
made.
try. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very good.
All right. Let's review these brewskis.
Okay.
This is the Salty Lady, brewed and canned
Salty Lady
by Martin House Brewing Company. It's their Gose.
Gose.
What'd you think?
This is Salty Lady.
It's salty. It's a sodium girl.
Look,
For all my sodium girls out there.
you salty ladies.
Salty ladies. Crackers.
Excuse me. I don't like Goses very much.
Yeah.
I do think they are a time and place beer, and
What is that time and place?
when I'm dead. No. I think having a nice Gose on a hot day by the beach.
Yeah. By the beach.
Works really well. Obviously, you get that salt, you get a little bit of that sourness, that little pucker factor that keeps it fresh and light.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I would not seek out a Gose in general most days, and so take this review with that pinch of salt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
This one is a 3.5 for me.
Ooh, wow.
It's a 3.5 for me because I think it's a little too salty.
Yeah.
It was almost a 4 because I don't think the sour element is bad. I think it actually tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
But it is just overly salty for me, and that's why I didn't have another one. Is because it felt like I was like, I don't know, licking a plate that had a pretzel on it before. You know?
Right.
And so I just feel like I couldn't have more than one, maybe two max of those without feeling overly indulgent. And it'd be the same if it was like way too sweet. It's okay. It's all right. It's above average to me for a Gose, but I would not seek it out again personally. If you are into Goses, I think it does the Gose thing pretty well. So I would check it out if I was you, but I'm not you. So 3.5.
Okay. I think I'll give it a 4. I think I'll bump it up just a little bit. And I mean, although I do agree with everything that you said, it is a little too salty. I mean, obviously it's called the Salty Lady. That's the point.
Sure, as it should be. Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that it doesn't make it very. It's not super like you said. Like a Gose is really nice on a hot day on the beach. You get that nice sourness. You get a little bit of saltiness. Like there is this, but this one is like it definitely like I wanted to drink something crisper, cleaner.
Yeah.
Like it really drew away from. Like you're just not gonna tackle a 6-pack of this.
No,
I just don't think.
Certainly not.
I think I would like Goses. The ones that I've had, I know that they're like light table beers and stuff, but I've usually like shared them with somebody else. It's usually been like something where like it's a small thing. It's not like I'm not ordering it.
Sure.
Most of the time, there are some that I've had that have been like fantastic. I think if this was just slightly less saltier, a little crispier, I like the sour note on it.
Yeah.
Do think that they got that part. I just think it's not as refreshing. I just don't see myself coming back to it. Yeah. I mean, even at the end of it looks like there's salt. Like it looks like salt.
There
water
probably is.
There,
there probably is.
So I'm gonna give it a 4. I do think it's still solid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go less than that, but I definitely wouldn't go any higher than that. And I am teetering on a 3.5 as well. Sure.
Likewise, I was teetering on a 4. So. I feel like we're
right there.
We're pretty much right there.
If we did quarters, you could call this a 3.75.
That would be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, if Obi says we got it, then this episode is over. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you.